The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. I'm Rob Deininger, and I'm here with Jack Degraw. And as always, we're talking Yankees baseball. How you doing, Jack?
Good. How are you this morning, Rob?
Not too bad. Yankees had a nice 13-game winning streak. They lost their last three, but it helped them shoot past a couple teams in the Red Sox and Oakland.
Yeah, I think the last time we talked a few weeks ago, I think we would have been happy if, they were 8-10 games over 500 and maybe 4 or 5 games out of the playoff spot. And now they got the wild card lead, and they've shot past a lot of the other teams. So, they had a really great run.
Yeah, I mean, if they can win tonight, they'll be 20 games over 500.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought this? When they were 41-41.
Yeah, like 10 and a half weeks ago. I mean, things look so bad that a lot of people thought they might be sellers at the trade deadline. But boy, have they had a big turnaround here in the second half.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's seen this coming. I mean, they've really played, some outstanding baseball. And
Aaron Judge has just been quietly consistent all year long. And now Stanton in the last 25, 26 games, he's been knocking the cover off the ball. So we got our two best players hitting at the same time, and it's pretty amazing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, and Judge has been solid all year. I mean, he hasn't had a bad slump. The big thing with him, him and Stanton, is that they can stay healthy in the lineup. And Judge has stayed healthy, and I think Stanton, since he started to play the outfield, he's been a lot more consistent. He's really been, he's been the Stanton the Yankees thought they were getting when they got into the Marlin.
Yeah, he even said, playing in the outfield has helped him at the plate, because he said when he's DHing, he's always thinking about his last at bat, but playing in the outfield, he doesn't think about his last at bat because he's got to concentrate on defense, and as a result, he says it's helping him at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, with the leg issues he's had, I mean, he hasn't been, the Yankees didn't play him in the outfield, and I think it hurt him because he played with the Marlins, and they don't have no DH in the National League, and he had to play the outfield, and he was a solid outfielder. I mean, he don't hurt you out there. He's a terrific athlete.
Yeah, I mean, in his last 26 games, he's batting .330 with 9 home runs, 24 RBIs, and he's got an on-base plus slugging over 1,000. And in that same time span, Judge, he's also batting .330 with 8 home runs and 24 RBIs. And he's got an on-base plus slugging over 1,000. So they're not going to cover off the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think when they got Rizzo and Gallo, even though they've been struggling a bit offensively, it just makes it solidifies the lineup, and they get better pitches to hit. And Gallo and Rizzo, they get good at bats. Even if they're not hitting well, they make the pitcher throw 6 or 8 pitches, and they have to be conscious. I mean, these guys are power hitters, and they can hit a ball out of the park anytime. Yeah,
I mean, Gallo, since joining the Yankees, has got 5 home runs and 11 RBIs. And Rizzo's got 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, but he had that bout with COVID. But, yeah, just having those two lefties have altered that the way the pitchers have to, approach the Yankees now.
Yeah, I mean, they've both had some big home runs late in games and helped the Yankees win games. So they've been, they've probably helped them win 5 or 6 games just with the home runs. They've been clutch home runs. The whole lineup is getting clutch hits. I mean, the averages aren't that great, but, they've been getting 2-out hits. And so it's been a team effort. They really look like an outstanding team.
Yeah, and also that they stayed aggressive on the base paths. You still see, I mean, I saw Judge the other night steal a base. Velasquez, that shortstop, he'll take off running if he's on first. I mean, so they're stealing bases, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, right before the All-Star break, they brought up a lot of guys from the minor leagues, and that's the way they were playing. They were stealing bases. And I'm glad to see they're still doing that. I mean, getting Vasquez and Wade and Judges stealing. I mean, they've added the stolen base to the offensive repertoire, and it's really fun to watch now.
Yeah, I mean, Judge has 6 stolen bases on the year, and he's only been caught once. Glaber, before he got hurt, he had 12 stolen bases. Who's that Velasquez kid? He's got 3 stolen bases. Andrew Velasquez, he's got 3 stolen bases. Anthony Rizzo's got 2. So, I mean, they're getting contributions from everybody on the base paths as far as stealing bases.
Yeah, I think Wade's in double figures.
Yeah, where is that kid? Yeah, Wade's been swinging a good bat lately, too.
Yeah, the big thing is if he could get a consistent at bats, and he's gotten consistent at bats, and I mean he looks like a completely different hitter.
Yeah. Tyler Wade, he's got 13 stolen bases.
Yeah, he gives them a dimension of speed, and the thing we talked off air, Robert, when they get Torres back, I mean, do you keep Vasquez at short, you put Torres there?
Yeah, I mean, Velasquez, he's got so much range at short, and he's got a nice arm. I mean, going to his left or the right, I mean, it might be a thing where maybe you start Favor, but then you bring in Velasquez later in the innings, for defensive purposes, or, you go with the hot bat.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think I would stick with, Vasquez. I mean,
so would I.
He's just played outstanding, and I mean, you got to consider what are they going to do in the off season with Torres? Are they going to? Yeah. I think they're going to have to go back. He's going to have to go back to second base, or if worse comes to worse, I wouldn't give the kid away, but you could look up. Trade possibilities. He's only 24.
Because, I mean, even though he's gotten better at shortstop as the year has gone on, he's more of a natural second baseman than he is a shortstop, I think.
Yeah, when he was down here in the minor leagues, they were saying eventually, he would move to second or possibly even third. And I was just, I think it was surprising, they undervalued Didi.
Yeah.
And they just thought Torres was going to step in and be an everyday shortstop. And, it was a stretch, and, he struggled defensively. And, he's a second baseman.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to bring it up. Did you see that home run Stanton hit? The 472, 74-foot shot to dead center in Oakland?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, you don't see many home runs hit the dead center into the upper deck. I mean, that was something else.
Yeah, I mean, when he hits them, they get out in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
it's just like rockets.
Who was that guy with Cincinnati? Frank Howard back in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, he was with the Washington Senators, Hondo.
Okay. Yeah, he used to hit some bombs to center field. I've seen some old highlights of him. He used to crush some shots.
Yeah, he was a big dude. He was like 6'7", 6'8", and when he hit him, he wasn't. He couldn't run too well. But when he'd hit him out in center field to stay, and he'd get a double out of him. but he when he was with the Senators, I mean, he put some in the upper deck down there in Washington. He was just he was a hard worker. He was an outstanding player, Frank Howard.
And we were talking off air. The Yankees transferred Clint Frazier, Miguel Andujar to 60-day IL, which puts an end to their season this year. Yeah,
Andujar played a couple games and they pulled him, and now I don't think he's eligible till mid-September. And Frazier, he's got the health issues, which is, it's a sad thing, and hopefully he can, get better and have a career and have, just have a quality life. I think it's better if both of them move along. I don't know if Brady has much trade value, but I'm sure Andujar, some teams would want him.
Yeah, and also we were talking about Luis Severino. He threw the other day.
Yeah, I think he'll be back in about a week or so, 7 to 10 days. And, as we were talking off air, that you can expand the rosters. I think September 1st, which is tomorrow. So, they can add 3 more players, which the Yankees used to add like 15 more players.
Yeah. You think one of those guys might be Clark Schmidt?
Yeah, I'd say that's a possibility.
Yeah. I'd like to see, because I know the last time he pitched 3 innings, and they said his stuff looked good. So, I mean, he's been pitching well when he gets his opportunities down the minors.
Yeah, I think, getting Schmidt back, and they got Kluber last night and Severino. I'm not too concerned about the pitching in September. The starting pitchers have been outstanding. And the relievers, even though they give you odds, they've been pretty solid too.
Yeah, and Kluber actually, I thought, pretty good for the first 3 innings. It was the 4th inning where he got in trouble, but that's from inactivity. I think he just might have gotten a little tired.
Yeah, I mean, he was having those issues earlier in the year. He'd had that one bad inning.
Yeah,
and hopefully he can, get it straightened out. He's a veteran. I think he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, and Garrett Cole, he's been pitching, brilliantly, and he's 13-6. And Montgomery, even though he's only 5-5, he's had a very solid year. He's among the league leaders in swing and misses, and he cut back on his walks this year. In 130 innings, he's only given up 41 base on balls.
Yeah, he's been very solid. I mean, when he pitches, he's going to give you a good quality outing.
Yeah. And tonight we got Jamison Taylor going tonight. He kind of got rocked in his last outing, but other than that outing, he's been looked at himself the second half.
Yeah, the last month and a half, he's been really solid. I mean, earlier in the year, he was struggling, and I think the Yankee starters over 46, 47 games of, their earned run average of, 2.50, I believe.
Yeah, I think they got like the 3rd best ERA in all baseball since the All-Star break. Might even be better than that, higher than that, maybe 2nd best.
One of the things, Rob, we were talking about, when Severino comes back now, he'll be coming out of the bullpen or with all the arm issues he's had, I think it's a possibility. They might turn him into a reliever.
Yeah, I mean, try to relieve some of that stress on his arm because he deals with injury after injury.
And I mean, as a reliever, you can get by with 2 pitches.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 4 quality pitches, but I think a lot of those pitches put more, stress on his shoulder and his elbow, and maybe, if they made him a reliever, when he would just have to be able to throw, 2 pitches, it could,
help. Yeah.
Yeah, keep him off the disabled list.
Yeah. And another guy that has come out of nowhere this year has been Nestor Cortez. He's really helped out in the starting rotation.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on and off with the Yankees for a couple of years. The Yankees always liked him, but it was usually the second time through the order because he's not overpowering in any way. But I mean, this year, he throws from all different arm angles, and he's tough to hit. I mean, he's really been a solid pitcher. I mean, like I say, for years it was like, okay, an inning or 2 here and there, but this year, he'll give you 5 or 6 innings.
Yeah, and I think on the season he's got a 2.77 ERA, and He's started. He's pitched in 16 games, and he started 8 of those. And in 61 and 2/3 innings, he's only given up 48 hits. Opponents are only batting .211 against him, and he's only allowed 19 walks. I mean, he's been very versatile for him.
Yeah, I mean, he throws all these different pitches from different arm angles, and I think he hits maybe 91 or 92. But he knows how to change speeds and he knows how to pitch, and he's been very solid this year. I mean, the Yankees are lucky they have him.
Yeah, and another guy has been Jonathan Lewazza. I mean, he's really come into his own this season. You can pitch him anywhere and out of the bullpen, bring him in early or have him close out games. I mean, he's been brilliant this year.
Yeah, and he hits 100 consistently on the speed gun and stuff. And another 2 guys we got to give credit to, Robert, is Clay Holmes.
Yeah.
And Peralta.
Yeah, we were talking off air. Boone said with Zach Britton being done for the rest of the year, he's going to use those 2 as the setup men, going forward, and he'll just mix and match versus lefty-righty.
Yeah, and another thing I like what the Yankees have done, and they've done it a couple of times, when Chapman is struggling in the 9th inning, they take him out of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that they did that, I think, like 3 games in a row or 2 or 3 games in a row. It was definitely a couple games in a row, but I think they might have did it 3 times in a row.
Yeah, the thing with Chapman now, he's having, he can't command his fastball. And then he just starts throwing sliders, and I mean, when he starts walking people, he's all over the place. He's not even close to home plate.
Yeah.
And, I think, with the games, there's not as many games left. I mean, you get 2 men on base with 1 out, no outs in the last inning, you take him out. I mean, you can't be messing around now. You got to win these games if you want to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, and looking at the Yankees' schedule, after they finish up with the Angels, they got 3 with Baltimore, 4 with Toronto, 3 with the Mets, a makeup with Minnesota, then 3 more with Baltimore, 3 with Cleveland, 3 with Texas. So most of the month of September, they got teams they can beat up on, and they finish out the year with 3 at Boston, 3 at Toronto, and then they come back home for 3 against Tampa to close out the year. So, I mean, they should be able to beat up on these teams, for most of September, and it'll be interesting that last week and a half of the season.
Yeah, we were hoping like the last 3 games of the year against the Rays would mean something, but the Rays just haven't had a bad stretch all season.
No, I mean,
they just don't lose.
Yeah, I mean, they're 9-1 in their last 10 games, and the Yankees, when they routed all 13 wins in a row, I mean, Tampa, they just weren't losing. They lose a game, and then they win 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah, I think even when the Yankees had 13 wins in a row, they picked up maybe 3 games on the Rays. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, right now the Yankees are 7 games behind the Rays. And I mean, hopefully with the teams we face, we can beat up on them. And I don't know what the Rays' schedule is, but it'd be nice if we could get that lead in half. So those last 3 games of the year might be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are 13-3 in the last 16 games, and they haven't picked up any games on the Rays. They were 7 behind, and now they're still 7 behind.
Yeah. And the Yankees, they've gotten better at home. They're 39-25 at home, and on the road they're 37-30. So they're starting to play a lot better away from home and a lot better at home. Well,
I think that just watching the game, the Yankee stands, they don't have the enthusiasm they used to have at the old stadium, but they play better at home. The fans are really getting into the games, and
Yeah.
When they're on MLB, it's fun to watch because the fans really get behind them.
Yeah, I mean, that old stadium, I mean, you were right on top of the field and the fans, I mean, you felt like you were right there. So when that stadium got rocking, it caused the juices to fly, to flow in those players. And the new stadium, it's beautiful, but it just doesn't have the same atmosphere or feel to it that the old one had.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it a billion times, but I mean, you watch the games and there's nobody in the lower section.
Yeah.
And, hopefully when the games get more, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty, they'll have more fans there to start the games. But, I mean, when you turn the games on now, it looks like, it's an hour before game time. There's nobody sitting in the lower stands.
Yeah. And we were talking off air. I brought up the Mets. I got a couple of their players giving the thumbs down to the fans because I guess their feelings are getting hurt that they're getting booed. And I was telling you, the one fan base you don't want to piss off is New York. Those guys, they thought, the booing was bad before. They're gonna really get it now.
Yeah, the New York fans are very passionate, and they either love you or hate you, and you don't go against the fans, especially they give Lindor all this money.
Yeah,
and he struggled this year, and the Mets looked like they were ready to turn it around, and now they're going they're going the bad way, and the last month could be kind of ugly at Citi Field.
Yeah, I mean, at one point I thought, we could possibly see both New York teams in the playoffs, but that's right now. They're 7 games behind Atlanta for the division and 6.5 out of the wild card spot with a bunch of teams ahead of them.
Yeah, they've really fell out of the race. I didn't realize they were that far behind, Robert, until you told me. I only thought they were, 2 or 3 games out. I didn't realize it was as bad as it is.
Yeah, that stretch of games they had against the Giants and Dodgers, they won a total of 2-11 against them, and it really sent them down in the standings.
Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, you lose 11 out of 13, that'll send you into the opposite direction.
Yeah, and the Yankees right now, power rankings or whatever it's called, they have a 97% chance of making the playoffs for the Yankees.
Yeah, well, like we keep saying, they've really turned it around.
Yeah,
I mean, I never seen this coming, and another thing, Robert, kind of interesting. I mean, early in the year, we knocked Cashman. A lot of people were knocking Cashman. I mean, and the team was poorly constructed, but I mean,
yeah,
he really turned it around. I mean, getting Rizzo and Gallo and Holmes and signing Vasquez before the season.
Peralta.
Peralta. I mean, he's done another outstanding job. And the interesting thing with Odor, Rizzo, and Gallo, the teams that they played for are paying the contracts.
Yeah.
The Yankees aren't even paying these guys. So.
No, I mean those were 2 really, really good pickups, especially when you don't got to pay them.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that since '93, I mean, they haven't had a losing season. I mean, they're in it every single year.
Yeah, I mean, I will give Cashman one thing. He always seems to make trades and good pickups during the trade deadline in the middle of the season.
Yeah, they always seem to come up with the guys who can help them. I mean, the minor leagues don't produce a lot of major league talent, but I mean they're able to trade these guys to get established players. So, that's the thing about their minor league. They don't develop players for the major league for the Yankees, but they seem to, they seem to have players other teams want. So they must be doing something right.
And you remember that pitcher they brought up, Gill, who pitched 15 2/3 scoreless innings?
Yep.
They were having him pitch out of the bullpen in the minors because when they bring him back up, they plan to use him out of the bullpen.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of that. Chad Green will start an inning or two, and then they bring in Gill, and maybe they'll bring in Severino, and So I think we'll be seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that we've had, though, this whole year is our pitching. Our pitching really has done a fantastic job this season. Even in the first half when we weren't hitting, they were keeping us in games, and it continued into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, they've been a lot better than I expected, and the bullpen hasn't been as good as I thought, but the starting pitching's been solid all year. It's probably been the best part of the whole team. From game 1 through 130, they've been the best part of the team.
And so you get the sense that Gio Urshela is still a little banged up?
Yeah, I don't think. He just looks like he don't look like the same player before. I mean, he's a little rusty maybe because sometimes they want to get these guys back too soon in the lineup, but the good thing is the whole lineup's been they've gotten a lot of clutch hits, and nobody has to be great. They just have to be consistent, just be solid.
Yeah. And like I said, we got Talon going tonight. Cole will pitch tomorrow to finish up the Angels series. And then start Baltimore, we have Cortez followed by Montgomery and then Corey Kluber. So that's our rotation for the next 5 games.
Well, hopefully they can, they can win the couple games out and with the Angels, because the Rays and the Red Sox are playing each other. So, the Yankees win, they pick up a game on somebody. Yeah,
and 24 years ago today, the Yankees retired Don Mattingly's number.
I was at that game.
Oh, really?
I think they played the Expos. It was Don Mattingly Day.
Yeah.
I remember going to Don Mattingly Day. I don't know if that's the day they retired his number. I assumed it is.
Yeah, I think it is. I would have loved to have gone to that. I remember watching it on TV.
Yeah, I mean, he was a special player until he hurt his back, and Robert would, now that he's a manager, I think if he gets with some better teams, maybe with a playing career and his manager career, it'll get him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Marlins actually gave him an extension this year, I think.
Well, they're happy with the job he's done down there with the Marlins, and him and Jeter were pretty close with the Yankees, and I mean, look, Robert. Joe Torre got in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he was an outstanding player, but when he got to the Yankees, like when he was in his 50s, that got him over the hump with all the championships. That's what got him in the him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what the Marlins' record is this year. I mean, it's amazing that the Marlins, even though they're not a good team, they're competitive. I think that says a lot about the coaching staff they got there.
Yeah, and they got some good pitchers, and they got Gary Denbo from the Yankees, to run the minor leagues. So, I think in 2 or 3 years you'll see them pick up. I mean, it's rough right now, but Jeter knows how to stay the course. I'm sure he'll turn it around down there.
Yeah.
Even though nobody's watching.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull it up and come up. There we go. What are you looking forward to this week from the Yankees?
Well, I just hope they win a few more games. I mean, they're playing the teams they should beat. and just continue to do what they've been doing, win series, win 2 out of 3, and that's what's got them, on this great streak, and hopefully they could run it out to the end of the year, and maybe the last 3 games of the Rays could mean something. So just have to wait and see. But it has been exciting. I mean, what we went through the first half and what we're seeing now, it's we're spoiled, and hopefully the Yankees can keep it up.
And that's I would love it if we could overtake the Rays for first place, because I hate to have to play the Red Sox in a 1-game playoff. Yeah,
that one game, they got to do something about that too.
Yeah, I mean, if it's only 2 teams for the wild card, make it a 3-game series.
Yeah, well, that's what they used to have. They only had the 1 team get in, and then but it's never going to go back. Hopefully, they will make it 2 out of 3, because 1 game is just you flip a coin.
Yeah. And any news on the minor league front?
I know the Volpe kid has done well. He's got 21 homers, 71 RBIs, and he's an up-and-coming Yankee. And Juan Dominguez is he's doing well. The Tampa Tarpons are with 22 games left. They're in first place by 5 or 6 games. So I think all the minor league teams are doing good. Next week, we'll do a little more research, and we can talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, because I want to look deeper into Jason Dominguez's stats. I know he has an off game, and then he'll come back and have a couple of hits, extra base hits and RBIs. Which is actually pretty impressive for a guy who's as young as he is and is now playing professional ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 18, and he's hitting against guys who, with professional league experience and guys who've played in college. So, he's usually 3, 4, 5 years younger than, the guys he's playing against.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, next week when we talk, the Yankees have at least gained maybe another game or 2. It'd be nice if people decide to lose a game or 2.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're back into it. And, another quick note, Robert, the 2022 spring training schedule is out. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'd love to go down there one time and catch a couple spring training games.
Yeah, spring training. I mean, even though I've been here the last 17, and it's not like it used to be. You don't have the access you used to be. But when you come down and watch the games, it's something special because you can get right next to the players.
Yeah. Well, this has been. What's that?
I said, hopefully you can make it down one year.
Yeah, because my cousin just moved down there, and I could always stay with him while I'm visiting.
Where does he live, Robert?
This is a G. Let me pull it up. I know it's somewhere on the East Coast. I'm not completely sure. Let me pull him up real quick. Groveland, Florida.
Okay.
Is that south, or is that in the middle?
Well, they like where the Yankees are, they have Dunedin, they have Clearwater, they have Lakeland, they have Bradenton, Sarasota. So everything's pretty close where the Yanks are. Now on the other coast, that's why they don't play the Mets too much and the Cardinals. But if you get down, Robert, we could hook up, and I think you'd really have a great time. Look forward to seeing you if you can do it.
Yeah, we could get together and see each other for the first time in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. But next week, same time, Jack?
Yep, sounds great, Robert.
Okay. And to all of the listeners out there, we'll catch you next week.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.